losers, inspire.
Welcome back to another Wisdom Wednesday discussion. I am your guide, Science Inspire, generating, uplifting, inspiring, developing, and empowering you to live inspired every day, forever, because that's life. Got that right. And this is the second week. This is week 2 of January 2026, our second discussion of this new year. And we are continuing on our monthly theme, which is empowering through new beginnings. This week, the focus is releasing the old, why release is necessary for growth. I know, release, a lot of times we associate that with letting go. We've talked about this previously. We're going to continue to expand and expound on these concepts because the truth is, as much as we want to try, you can't fill a cup that is already full. So there's room here. I can fill it up a little bit more. But if this cup was actually full, there's no room to fill it up anymore. So you have to release. Release is not loss. Okay? Creating room, it's not loss. What we are saying, the cup lost, I gain. So it is actually making space for more to come, more that is aligned with who you have become and who you are becoming, more that is authentic to who you are, and more that is empowered. Because that's the version of you that we are experiencing right now. This is the version of us that we are expressing. It is the empowered version of our life, and it's taking root now. And this release is going to allow more of that to come in. So let's start with our affirmation. Let us affirm that I understand that growth requires space, honesty, and release. You ever heard you gotta let it go to grow? Some things may actually have been holding you down, and you have been holding it, and now it's time to release it. Our intent, as always, we have affirm, intention, and then what we are desiring as an outcome or what the outcome may be. Our intention as to why we want to release and why we're affirming that, is going to require this space and honesty is we want to begin to understand internally. It's not enough that we think that we know it. Be like, oh, I know that. No. We want to understand this so it becomes action. So we are living this, embodying that is not lost. Right now, we might hear this and you be like, release, okay, yeah, that's cool. But we haven't embodied it, that release is not lost. We might still believe that if we are releasing, letting go, that we're losing something and we're so afraid to lose. It's like how you not gain. Sometimes it's interesting to me that I'm like, we're afraid to lose unless the doctor tells us we need to lose weight or give up a habit, or it's basically like life, or you can gain some type of instant gratification or satisfaction from it. So if I'm gonna get something right now, I'm willing to lose. Or if it's life threatening, I'm willing to lose. If I gotta lose weight or lose these habits. But any other time, we're afraid. Like we avoid that loss. Oh no, I don't. So how are we? What is it that we are expecting to gain if we're not going to release? Right. The outcome from this discussion is that you will be able to identify and compassionately cut that off, sever those ties, cut that attachment that kept you tethered to the lesser versions of your life. So as we go through this discussion, like we will be able to gain not just the information, but also maybe the practices, the rituals, the tools needed to identify and then sever those attachments. We don't just want to keep talking about the stuff. We want to be like, okay, once I identify what the issue is, I also want to have a resolution for that, you know, a cure. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't just want to be okay with this is just the way it is. It's not. But it's going to take a concerted effort on our part for this to happen. Remember, it ain't easy. And we only saying that just to remind ourselves. So what? It's not supposed to be. The easiest thing is for us to do nothing. See what we get from that? Nothing. So as we open up, we're going to talk about why we cannot build while holding on to everything. We're holding on to so much, yet like this, right? You holding on. How you gonna build? You like, okay, you, I gotta put some of this down. I gotta let some of this go. But if I'm holding on, then I can't build while holding on to all this because I don't want to let it go and I don't want to put it down. So then, what you gonna do? Excuse me, hey, can you come over here? You gotta let some of that stuff go. At least let one hand be free so you can start working. All right. So the guiding question that I have for you is, what are you still clutching? Like them pearls. What are you still clutching? Is it a belief? Is it a story? Is it a habit that you have? Is it an identity, a way that you have seen yourself for so long? What is it that you are still clutching that is using the very energy and the space that you need to build the life that you say that you want to live? So you say, I want to live my life this way. I want to live inspired. Sons, I hear you. I want to live inspired. So then what are you still holding on to that's taking up that space? Because in order for us to get to that point, we got to let go of the thing that's standing in our way. This is what, when they talk about becoming, you got to release that in order to become. And we all have seen it. When we're a child, we're thinking about the future and what the possibilities and how, what are we going to be when we grow up? Yet if you're holding on to this mindset that you can't be nothing, you don't see nothing. If you hold on to this mindset that, then that's what's going to happen. So we have to release the beliefs that we have so that new ones can come. The old story so that a new story can be written. The old habit so we can introduce new habits. The old identity so we can identify correctly with who we are. These things have happened to us. We expected them to happen when we was a child, becoming a teenager. And then at some point we got locked in and we didn't want to change anymore. We locked ourselves in and said, all right, this is the identity I'm sticking with and I ain't changing. And it's caused problems. And we need to begin to release these things. Okay, so last week we talked about, last week we planted that seed of our new intention. Now this is tending to the soil. So we planted the seed, put it in. Now we're going to tend to that soil. And for any seed to sprout, it needs space, right? You can't crowd these seeds because they're going to be competing and it's not going to have enough space to grow. So we need space. We need a new intention of, okay, so what is this going to be? What is this part of this garden going to be? You're not just throwing random seeds in this garden and just be like, it's going to be anything. We plan this out. So we're intentional about the seeds that we're planting and what we want to grow at this time in our life. So we clear out the space. We're setting the intention for what this is. We need the proper nutrients to provide the soil, to provide the seed. And then we need that contact with earth, which is that foundation, our feet planted on the ground. Because where we're coming from, this old life, it had all our compacted beliefs. They stuck like this, rigid. They had our unresolved emotion and the residue that came from that. And it was linked to who, what, where, when, why, and how. For us to, in this new soil, those type of things, the old beliefs, that unresolved emotional residue, those are the rocks and the weeds in our garden. We had spoke about that before, in a different way, how as a seed we're still able to grow in those environments, yet When we are being intentional, we want to remove that now. We understood how we still grew no matter what in the rocky terrain that was our upbringing, our surrounding. We still grew. Now at this point, we're saying, I'm going to clean all of that out because I'm intentional about this now and planting a new seed so that I can grow fully. Right. So this growth is not just about adding new stuff. And new car, new house, new clothes. No, 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 no. It's first about honoring that which we just released. That, oh, you honor that with gratitude. We're not just throwing it out. Respectful for that. For its service, for what it provided for us up until now. And then we clear it out. Because now we got to make room. So we honor it, but you still got to go. We got to give you a proper respect first. We got to honor that. Because if it wasn't for that, we don't get here. Yes, the pain and the heartache and the trials and tribulations that you went through, if it wasn't for that, you don't get here. You keep remembering only that pain. You don't remember how you got through it, when the pain actually stopped. You don't remember the rehab process, because that's hard. But that rehabilitation process, that's the beauty right there. That's the work. That's where we put in to get to this point where we can now perform differently and do something better. We don't want to discard that. It's like you go into the store and you purchase something and then you leaving your change and you just walking out like, I need it. No, yes, you do. What are you talking about? Ain't nobody that rich. Like, that's carelessness. All right. We want to make sure we're accounting for all of this because it's all a part of who we are. We don't want to, this life isn't about us growing and forgetting where we came from, forgetting the things that we went through, forgetting the past, right? Only looking towards the future. No, it's about honoring each moment, every phase of that, the past, that present, and the future. This is how we fulfill life. If we have these moments where we don't want to look at them, we're ashamed, and we're not honoring ourselves. We're actually blocking us from seeing the whole picture. We're not releasing, we're not relieving. We're continuing to hold on to these things. And it's time to let it go. So we want to begin by naming these things. And so we name these things by being able to say them to ourselves. You don't have to say them to me. You ain't got to come online. You ain't got to post about them. But you have to name these struggles to yourself. This is what these conversations are about. We want the new beginnings, but we don't want to release the old patterns. And that's where accountability starts. You got to call it out. Just like this is Alcoholic Anonymous. Like I say, my name is Shantz, and I'm an alcoholic. And then I go from there. You got to say, hey, look, this is my struggle. This is what I have an issue with right now. You're just identifying this is the thing that's causing me problems. And then watch how the solutions are going to start to arise, and we're going to have to then enact those. This is the space needed for growth. We have to have space in our mental for the growth. We have to create space in our emotions for the growth. And we have to create space in our spirit for the growth. Because holding on, you're getting drugged. We're getting drugged because we're holding on and we got to let go. But yet I know personally how that feels. Because a lot of times we mistaken holding on for loyalty, or how long I can hold on for that strength. We'll say, hold on, be strong. So we thinking that we're loyal and we're strong or that we're consistent. After a while, holding on begins to hurt. Holding on begins to negatively affect you. You begin to lose out now on those same things that are the reason for you holding on. Your strength. You ain't gonna have the strength to hold on no more. Using so much of it to hold on, you're losing that which you're using, this strength. The loyalty to who you're actually supposed to be loyal to is gonna be gone too. because we're trying to be loyal to others and we're disloyal to ourselves, which means we're not consistent. So, if anything, we need to continuously release because that's how we show loyalty to ourselves and the Most High. That's how we show strength, because what true strength is knowing when to let go and what to let go of. And then it allows for that consistency because you're not going to get stuck in something. You're moving, you're going. Our empowerment truly begins when we recognize I'm ready to put this down. And when we can acknowledge and know what to put down, you say, I'm ready to put this down. Enough of that. I'm ready to put this down. And our scriptural anchor is going to tie that in and remind us. For in Luke chapter 5, verse 37, it says, no man putteth new wine into old bottles. That sounds like offensive. No man putteth new wine in old bottles. I know you ain't. No man putteth new wine into old bottles, else the new wine will burst the bottles. So no man puts new wine into old bottles, else the new wine is going to burst the bottles. New growth. This requires a new capacity, more space, more room. New cannot go into old without transformation. So a lot of times we think only in these negative terms, destruction, it's no longer death, it's gone. We're not thinking transformation because truly that is what this is. Death is transformation, just like birth is transformation. The person you're looking at, the person you're hearing, when you wake up and see yourself in the mirror or that avoidance, whatever it is, these human beings that we interact with every day literally started from a seed, a cell. Boop. Then it grew into an embryo. Then the embryo grew into a baby. Then that baby came out and it was life. This is transformation. Yet if we're looking at it negatively, then it's the end and there's nothing. It's just done. That's the mistake. And this is why we end up holding on, because we don't want to let go, because the fear of loss is also death. And it's like that means that it's done and there's nothing, but it's transformation. So us holding on is us blocking our transformation, because new cannot go into old without transformation. New information cannot go into your old mindset without that being transformed. Call it education. You went from first grade to second grade to 10th grade, and you had to have new information each term. And if you tried to hold on to that old information, you did not get the new information. You didn't go to the next grade. You was held back. That, which we call misunderstanding, is the conflict between new and old, not integrating. So I don't understand, because the old thing that I understand and this new thing that you want me to understand are in conflict, and I don't get it. So imagine we've been punishing each other and punishing ourselves for not getting, because there wasn't no space in there to have that understanding. There needs the when space was created, so that new thing could come in. He's like, oh, I get it now. Oh, snap! I didn't see it. Oh, so what you're saying is this 2 plus 2 is 4. Crazy. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, yet you beating up on yourself, and we're demeaning each other, and so that does not create the space for new understanding to come in. Impossibility, therefore, then, is more about compatibility. What we're thinking is impossible. It's like it's incompatible. You're trying to put a square peg in a round hole, or even worse, you're trying to put that square peg in that hole that looked like a star. Well, it is not going to fit at all. And you're saying this is impossible. No, it's incompatible. If you took that and put it over there, now look what happens. Oh, so this new wine will change whatever enters. This is new growth. So there's areas that it may not be able to enter because it's not compatible. You don't want to be that old vessel that something new isn't compatible with. And this is where I see it the most between the generation gap, the old and the young. Incompatibility. The young people swear that they brand new and you ain't never did this before and you don't know what you're talking about. And the old swear, see, back in my day, we used to do it like this and that. And both of them right and wrong. They're talking about compatibility. Yeah, if they actually sat down and shared space, they would see, and this growth would happen. The new would take parts of the old mindset and become more mature, understanding, capable. The old would encompass more of the new mindset, which would renew their mind. And it wouldn't be this back in my day, because that was back in your day. But guess what? Back in your day, you know what your elders were saying back in my day. And if we keep going back in the day, we're going to go back to a day where somebody was like, I wonder what's going to happen tomorrow. We went back to the first day and they started projecting the next day. Yet we're all talking about back in my day because it's incompatibility. We lack that relationship and that understanding with each other. And what we're trying to do is put new wine into old flasks, into old vessels. It's going to burst it. You're trying to force it in there, it's going to break it. And so, overwhelming us with this information, we're seeing a breakdown. We are seeing these old bottles burst because they cannot contain this new information. It's incompatible, right? We don't have the capacity for all of this. When we know that we have the capacity, we begin to embody. So the fact that we don't see people in, the fact that we see more of us struggling to embody what we're saying, this life, this is how we know that the issue is this compatibility with this new and this old. How we're trying to integrate, but instead we're just holding on and we haven't integrated anything. So you're just holding on to all this stuff. You got all this new stuff, but ain't got nowhere to go. So you gotta hold on to it. So the old wineskins, the old mindsets, the patterns, the frameworks that we have held on to for so long that were rigid, inflexible, outdated, we can't hold on to that with our new spiritual realities. I mean, state of the world right now. Look at the mindsets of the people. Look at religion. And this is not to attack anybody. Simply saying, look at what's happening. We're saying this is why this is happening because that, yep, very well. Yeah, I'm saying, look at what's happening. You're seeing old and new fighting, not even fighting. You're seeing the bursting because we're trying to fit this new into this old, and it's not working. So people are breaking away from things. They are reintegrating things because those were old mindsets. These were old patterns. These were old frameworks that weren't really compatible. And we're trying to fit ourselves into these things. And that's not what we're here for. They don't allow us to live fully and freely and express ourselves. They try to put us into a box that you have to stay in. And this is what most people have been expressing. It is not that we don't want or the Most High. It's not that we don't spirit or to God. It's that these containers are too rigid. They don't fit. I don't want to go over there because you're forcing me to try to fit into something that don't work. And you're judging me and it doesn't feel right. So as we get these our new spiritual realities, we also have to update that vessel because that old concept that you had cannot fit into this new paradigm. That's why so many people are sitting around like it's hard for them to relate because they're just like they're so stuck holding on to that they don't want to release it. I have known this way of life for 40 plus years. I don't know what that looks like, and I'm afraid because I'm uncertain. And so we don't force, we nudge, we encourage. You just have to explore. You haven't explored and experienced, and we just want you to explore your space more. And then all of a sudden, you start getting out more, and now you start to see what you was actually fearing was your growth, was living. So that bursting that we're talking about is this renewal disguised as a rupture. The new truth disrupts the old patterns. So when you're seeing that, what we're actually experiencing is we're feeling and seeing this in real time. So it's not that the new destroys the old, it transforms it. And if you are not ready to be transformed, you are going to resist it. And if you are resisting, we know that that's where the pain comes in. This is why you're being pulled. We're resisting, we won't let go. So now you're resisting. So you're being pulled or pushed in the direction, and you're trying to go the other way. Release is necessary because growth can't happen without renewal. The old soil, the old patterns, the old ways, we have to renew. So we must release. This is a key to life, which is release is an act of wisdom. We release when we wise. We're like, I gotta let that go. I think I gotta let it go. Otherwise, it's gonna be another love TKO. It's gonna knock you out. Bing. Release is essential. Matter of fact, release is the essential decay that is needed to fertilize our new growth. That's something that I learned uh, as I haven't got my land yet, but as I'm learning about the farming and the land and how to do this properly, because when I get it, we're going to enact it. But what I'm learning is about compost, about renewal, how way back when, you know, that we did farming before it was very commercialized and corporate, is old scraps would go in the soil. You could take like apples and old fruit and throw it in the soil. You was taking cow manure, some of the best compost. That's waste. And it is put in the soil to renew. So that thing that decays actually begins to fertilize. This is the old being renewed. The old has a use where we think it don't, and we trying to throw away everything that's old. Our elderly, like your grandparent, that's the dumbest. I ain't even gonna get on that, but this is so stupid. It's like wonder why we struggling, because you're throwing away that which has the wisdom and you're pushing it off and you don't want to listen to it. Get your old self out of here. And it's like this way you don't know nothing. You're trying to run out in the world where you lack experience and you're trying to say, I know it all. No, you don't. And the ones with the experience are looking at the world and they're feeling like we're not able to participate. Both of these things are needed. Fertilizer for new growth. Okay. Yet when we hold on, that's our illusion of safety. We'd be like, yeah, I'm safe. I remember when I was holding on to my relationship, I thought I was safe because I just knew it. It was like comfortable here because I know what this is. What I don't know is if I leave here, I don't know what that is. I don't know what that's like to be single. I don't know what that's like not to be around my children. I don't know what that's like. And I held on so much that it got so hard to hold on that after a while, it didn't matter if I wanted to hold on or not. I have the strength to no more. So we either release or it's snatched away from you. And what I'm saying is you have a choice always. So take it, use it. Imagine you have choice. Let's just say these are like tokens. You got a bunch of choice tokens in your hand, and you're gonna die with all them tokens still in your hand. You never made the choice, you just kept it. You just like, dang, I could have chose. I didn't even what? You have the choice. Make it. Right? They say you got a right to vote, and we go out and vote every year. You have a right to choose every single day. Express that right. Because if you don't express that right to choose, then it is chosen for you. That's what we don't like. You don't like when things are chosen for you. You want to be able to dictate which way you go. You don't want somebody to say, hey, go straight to jail. Do not collect $200. Do not, what? No, what? Why? No. Don't like that. Yet if we're going to sit around and say, no, I'm not going to use literally one of my greatest assets and resources that was bestowed upon me, like I could choose. I'm saying, no, I'm not going to do that. Okay, great. This is why you have governments that are enacting things to do it for you because we won't. And they know this. They're like, they're not going to choose. This is why marketing companies they talk like this in their meetings. We don't care about what they don't know what they want. We're gonna tell you what you want. This is why people really are building relationships like this. That the man is supposed to do this and the woman is supposed to do this. I'm gonna tell you what to do and you're gonna do it. That's a subservient relationship, and yet we treat ourselves very much like this. It's complementary. These things complement. Letting go, releasing complements growth. Holding on complements decay. When we let go, that is the practice and expression of trust in the larger becoming. And I was thinking about this today. It was like, wait a minute. If I keep saying that I want to do this thing, then what am I waiting for? Imagine you saying, well, when I get the money, I'm going to do it. You don't actually believe. And then there is no guarantee that when you get that money, you actually going to do it, or when you get that opportunity, or when it comes, that you're actually going to take advantage of that. Because you knew better, you do better. So if that's something that you want to do, you start that now. If you know that you want to be a pianist, you don't wait and say, if when I get the money for lessons. No, you start learning, you start doing it. You want to be a chef, you start cooking in your own kitchen first. You start making your own meals. You don't say, if somebody give me the opportunity. You start doing it. This is where we are showcasing trust in the larger. So I'm thinking, like, wait a minute. I can't say that, oh, if somebody ever gave me the opportunity to speak, I would start speaking. Nobody gave me the opportunity. I had to take it. I had to decide, okay, look, just start doing these Wisdom Wednesday discussions. I'm gonna just start talking. I'm gonna just develop myself. I'm going to start doing that. I can't wait until the end. Like, so when we let go, that is the practice and expression of the trust in the larger becoming. Oh, I know what I'm doing, so I'm releasing that now, because if there's no way I can become that if I don't release this. I gotta let this go. I gotta leave this right here. I gotta go in there. I gotta go through that. And release is not erasing the past. Your past still gonna be there. Release is learning from it. Release is no longer carrying it forward. My bad, I was carrying that the whole time. Like, that's crazy. I don't know what I was doing. Let me put this down. We hold on to things in our lives because they feel familiar. Like, I was in a relationship because it felt familiar. Like, you know what? Waking up to the same thing. You just get into this habit. Yet you get into the habit of being familiar with something that you don't like, something that is uncomfortable. So we become familiar with things that we don't want to be familiar with. We become familiar with discomfort and we believe that comfort is non-existent. We become familiar with chaos and we believe that peace is nowhere to be found. We become comfortable, familiar with misery, and so we be like, yeah, this, of course, I am the company. We hold on because this is the loyalty thing. This thing once served me, and I gotta be loyal. I gotta stick it out. I gotta stay here. I gotta do. Okay. This is also a tactic by certain people to do certain things because they know it's gonna gain your loyalty. So I'm gonna jump in this mug real quick and start giving you stuff, start setting you up because you'll be loyal to me then. Remember what I did for you? Remember how much I gave you? This is just a word to the wise. Take it however you want to be. But when somebody wants to hold something like that over your head and it ain't a mistletoe, tell them to kiss your. Because think about that. I'm going to now say, how much I did for you. So was you doing that for me so that you can remind me later on? Are you doing that for me so that I would continue to hold on because you don't want me to release? You're not obligated to anything or anyone but yourself. This is why you came here by yourself, unless or something like that, and you Siamese can join. But you came here by yourself on a mission to develop the full being of yourself. So you can live in the full expression and embodiment of the Most High. Anything else should be uncivilized. Anything else, we shouldn't even be entertaining it. Yet, hey, because we got free will, we entertaining all this other stuff, which is a distraction, and it's hindering us from the full embodiment, the full expression from living inspired every day forever. Matter of fact, we don't even believe that that's possible because we holding on to so much. Yet once we feel that protection, we're confident to start expressing different. Yet we also need to be reminded once we feel that internally, right? Because what we believe once protected us may now be restricting us. Remember, wisdom is knowing when and what to let go of. So it's protecting us. Great. Yet there's come a time where I gotta get up out of here. I gotta move forward. I gotta release this because if I don't, it's gonna hinder me. Example of that: we grow up in our parents' home, and if you're still there after a certain amount of time, it can hinder you, especially if the environment isn't conducive to that, and our environments are not. In the States, we don't adhere to the indigenous structure where we stay together, we build together. They're in the house. Aspect. We at 18, you get out. Bye. So if you're still in your parents' house at like 24, think something's wrong with that. I personally don't, but this is neither here nor there. What I'm saying is, after a certain amount of time, you do have to go out into the world and experience yourself. If you don't leave that nest, you end up regressing because now you're not expressing yourself. Because release is going to create for us in our lives clarity that we need. It's going to create the energy that we need to continue on in these tumultuous moments through each day. It's going to create the direction for our purpose in our life. And it's also going to create that peace. Because when we release that, you're like, whew. And you know how we know this is true? Because what do you do when you come home from a hard day work? You go, man, I just, whew. You release and you at peace. You're like, oh man, what's the first? You pop that button and you at peace because that's what release is going to create for us, right? And we're going to go through our universal anchors now, so we can see this in action. You only lose what you cling to. Huh? You lose what you cling to. This is Buddha letting us know that, hey, you want to be free? Break that attachment. Your freedom begins where your attachment ends. You clinging to that, that's why you're going to lose it. Holding on, so I don't want to know. True. Gone. It's not your property, right? There is a way that, matter of fact, we have misconstrued what we believe love is because we call it possession. And I'm supposed to hold on to this thing and possess this thing and this mine. And that ain't what it is. And this is why I feel we're losing love. But we're not outreaching to set expectation. We're literally just giving up. So I don't even want to say we lose it. We're giving up on it because we have tried to possess it so much that it had to leave. It's like you're choking it. You're attached to it. That thing which you actually love, to say, if you love it, let it go and it'll come back. Yes, this is true. Yet I think we should also recognize it as when you love it, you will let it go and it will come back. Because, hey, you have to go off. Okay, cool, right here, waiting for you. I got you. Do something. You come back, hey. But if it's like, no, please don't, please, no, 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 my life is nothing. Then they're gone, and then all of a sudden, we went with them. Our freedom begins where that attachment ends. A Taoist principle is called the empty vessel. And it says, we shape clay into a pot, but it is the emptiness inside that holds whatever we want. We shape clay into a pot, but it is the emptiness inside that holds whatever we want. It comes from the Tao Te Ching. It's saying that the utility of a thing depends on its hollow spaces. I like that. How much can you actually hold? That's the utility. You putting that in the hollow spaces. Your power, your creativity, your peace depends on the emptiness that you continuously maintain within ourselves. We holding on to too much. You're that vessel. That emptiness is what allows something to go in. That's your utility because you're empty. Oh, we put something in there because you're empty. God is like, boy, you too full. What you want me to put in there? You keep asking, put that down. Until you put that down, this it's right there, but you cannot get it because you're clinging on to so much. Empty that vessel. Then you can get more, then you empty that vessel. Then you get more, then you empty that vessel. So if you want more, you got to create that flow where you're able to release. And guess what is always going to come to and through you? It's just going to flow because you're not clinging to it. You're not holding on to it. You're not trying to block it or stop it. You're allowing it to flow. And we love to be where things flow. We don't like to be in rigid spaces and places around rigid people. We like to be where things are allowed to flow. Everybody like green lights, but nobody like red lights. Nobody likes traffic jams. We like when it flows, right? So Carl Jung, in the Psychology of Change, which is about resistance, tells us that what you resist persists. And if we was Yoda, we'd say, persist, resist you what? Because what you resist persists. So to persist, resist you what? Stop resisting. All right. And that thing is gonna stop. So if we want our energy and our emotions to hold form, let them go. Otherwise, guess what happens? We hold in resistance. Yet the story that we refuse to release is going to continue. That narrative is going to continue over and over and over. And it's going to continue to drain your energy because it's demanding that constant contact. Your subconscious is always on. The light is on all the time. And if that light is constantly on, that bill is going to run up. So your energy is being drained because you're constantly paying attention to that. Always. You wake up with it on your mind. Through the day, it jumps on your mind. You go to sleep with it on your mind. Matter of fact, that has become your mind. It's just that thing. You're jumping on their page, trying to follow, see what they're doing. Can't get it off. So because you're paying that much attention, your subconscious is now suppressed. It's not able to go where it needs to go, to flow how it needs to flow. It's so focused on this thing, we're resisting our ability to go. You put a block in, and now the water is damming up. I'll be damned. So this is called forest ecology, and it's indigenous wisdom. And some of my favorite, our favorite wisdom is indigenous. Is that which comes from our ancestors, the culture. It feels like it just was there before we was, and it kind of always makes sense. Yet it's always placed in like a right. So a forest fire, though destructive, clears the canopy, returns nutrients to the soil, and allows sunlight to reach the forest floor, triggering the germination of seeds that require such conditions. We don't even think like that. They just naturally understand how a forest fire is a positive thing, is also a blessing. That what we look at as the destruction is also renewal. A forest fire, though destructive, it's then going to tell you why that destruction is necessary. It clears the canopy. It's clearing out what was old and was causing a blockage, a hindrance. And it's going to return those nutrients to the soil. And then on top of that, what was there was blocking the sunlight from getting in. So that which needed the sun couldn't get it. So the fire burned that all away, returning the nutrients to the ground, allowing the sun so that life can then continue. So the destruction did not create an end, it renewed. Human destruction is what creates an end, because now we're not renewing. We will cut a whole forest down and put cement. Well, you just block growth. Yet we seeing that natural in nature, right? When things are destroyed, it's to renew something else. And we don't understand that. So we lack that understanding. So we destroy and we don't renew anything. And everywhere we go, we do that to ourselves, to other people, to other places, to other things, until we begin to renew ourselves. We are going to be destructive. So we need to begin to understand that, hey, there are certain forms of growth in our life as well as in nature that are going to depend on a clearing. So there's certain times in your life, no matter who you are, there's going to be that clearing moment in your life. There's going to be that destructive forest fire that has to come burn some stuff down so that something new can happen. And we've all just been sharing our stories about how we didn't understand that. It was incompatible with our understanding. So we express it as pain. We express it as something that we want to get rid of and don't want to remember. But those moments that we're all talking about, the worst moments of our lives, is that forest fire that when you actually are capable to step away, when we've created enough space where you were able to release that, now you start to see, like, wait a minute. First of all, that couldn't last forever. So how did I expect my grandma to just live forever? Of course, one day she was gonna have to go. So it's selfish for me to not want her to leave. I had to let that go because it is her life that gave way to mine. Like that allows me to then step up. That allows me to then take what she gave me and progress it, push it forward, to add to it. But when it first was happening, I wasn't able to see that. We don't go, and she wants to go, she's ready to go, and we don't leave, please, no, I'm not ready for you to leave. And that's the incompatibility. Me wanting her to stay was incompatible with her being ready to leave. So it was a misunderstanding. If that fire came through to clear the canopy and return the nutrients back to the soil, now the sunlight is hitting and new growth is happening. And I pay respects to her life all the time because I'm learning how to give back to the soil. That's all I'm personally getting back to. That's what I am presenting with these Wisdom Wednesdays and with this inspired life, is how to return and give back to the soil, creating renewal in our life, sustainability. It's a process. It's a system. You can take this system with you if you want to. If you want to live inspired every day forever, it's a system that you can take with you. You just have to, again, enact it. You got to embody it. You have to do the journal prompts. You have to do the work and not worry about the results. Because think about it. When do you ever go to work and the result is not you getting paid? If that's the case, then maybe what you have been doing is working for free. That's a thing. You can work for free. You can give up your services for free if you want to. Yet, there is no time where you are putting in work and the results don't happen. So why focus on that? We just focus on what we need to do daily. And then when them results come in, it's like the check in your account. Ding, notification. Oh, snap. Look at these results. We love it. Keep going. We're not sitting here like the results come. What is this? A lie detector test? What, you on a Maury show and you trying to know if you are a father or not? That's the only time you like, well, I'm waiting on results. No, you put in the work, the results happen. So we don't focus on that. Right? We're in Philippians chapter 3, verse 13. It says, brethren, I count not myself to have apprehended, but this one thing I do. It's just one thing that got me tripping. This one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forth unto those things which are before. He said, brethren, hey, listen, I'm not gonna say that I understand, but this one thing I actually do. And that is, I forget those things that are behind and I reach for those things that are before. I'm understanding that forward movement requires me to release. I can't hold on to that. Yet we got to bring some compatibility to this understanding. Because right now, we may not have a compatible understanding of what behind means. We know behind the past, right? You no longer carry the past, the old identities, the old patterns, the wounds, even the success versions. When I was 25, you no longer carry that. Behind is anything that will pull your attention backwards. You're going this way and you're doing this. Try to drive your car looking in the rear view. See how far you get. You might actually get far. See how difficult it'll be. Okay? So behind is those things that would pull our attention backwards. This is why you need to release that, because your life is going forward and you are stuck looking behind you. So you hit, I didn't know that was there. I didn't know that. I didn't see that. You can't. You're looking behind you. So before, that's an interesting one. It didn't say after. It said before. So it's like, wait, behind and before. Before. When you hear that word, you're like, wait, if something's behind me and I'm reaching forward into those things that are before, the present moment leads to becoming. Right now leads to us becoming. This is the before. Your present moment is the before. Right now, before you become that thing, before you do that thing, before you receive that thing, it's the present moment. We're in the before. We're in the becoming. So what is in front of you? What is presently available right now? That which is in reach, which calls us forward. It is now, right now, that opens into the next. The decisions that you make right now are affecting the next, the before. When we're talking about living in the present, this is what pulls us forward. So I don't actually need to focus on the future and worry about what's going to happen tomorrow and a year from now and will I have it. I need to focus on right now. I need to get my mind off of that past, stop looking at things that are pulling me behind because that's my attention going this way. I can't look at things that are pulling my attention forward because that's my attention going this way. I need to focus right now on the front. I'm driving. I need to focus on the road ahead. And it is okay to look in my rear view and check the past sometimes. It is also okay to look at the future because I gotta look ahead. Oh, it's 2 lights up. Okay, I see that. Maybe there's some traffic coming. But I'm still in the car in this present moment. I can't be distracted looking at my phone, trying to change the radio, do all this other thing. That's the issue. We are so distracted in the present that leads to us becoming distracted in the future. Then when we look back into the past, we see how we was distracted. Presently, right now, this is the before. So what we need to do is to stop rehearsing the past. That played out. It happened already. Stop resisting the present. Stop fighting right now. I don't want to do that. No, stop. Stop fearing the future. You stuck in the past, fighting the present, fearing the future. What are you becoming? If you stop and just look at who that person is and say, what would that person become? If I'm stuck in the past, worried about all the things that have happened, and I'm fearing the present, doing what I need to do now to create a new existence, then I'm afraid of the future. What does that person become? And if you can sit with that and see and say, that's what I want to be, then fine. But if you don't align with that, if that's not compatible with you, if you don't adhere to that, you need right now is where we start to enact the change for that. Right now is where we stop rehearsing. Right now is where we stop resisting. Right now is where we stop fearing. Right now is where we start reaching forth into those things which are before. Right now is where we are present, listening as it calls us forward. Behind may be what shaped us, yet before is what calls you. In this present moment is where we choose. And all you have to do is ask yourself. You don't have to be negative. You ain't got to be the judge and the jury and the victim. Okay? What you can do is just ask yourself, what is it? What am I choosing? Just reflect on your day and just what did I choose? Don't get mad at yourself. You said, man, I chose Rocky Road ice cream at 10 a.m. Okay, so that's all we want to see. What was the choice that I made, and what did that lead to? Me eating Rocky Road ice cream at 10 a.m. What did that lead to? Wow, I was stuck in the bed at 12. I was hurt, or whatever. I don't know. We're simply just seeing it. And then we're going to say, if that outcome didn't align with what I wanted, I need to make a different choice. Then we make a different choice. Then we look, okay, what did that choice do? And if it did align, mark that down. And we just continue to make aligned choices. You won't be able to do that if we're going to continue to beat ourselves up, to be the judge, the jury, and the victim. You're not going to enact change. You're just going to beat yourself up. You're going to lock yourself up, put you in solitary confinement, throw away the key, and then you're going to say, putting yourself in your own jail cell. And our life is meant to be attached with action. So when we are living inspired every day forever, it's because we're acting out. We're embodying this. So this now is leading us into your life action. This is the ritual that you can use, your practice that you can develop. You can either do this one physically or visually, right? This is the burn ceremony. Remember, we just talked about the forest fire. So we're about to burn this canopy so that we can return the nutrients back to the ground so the sunlight can come in so this seed can receive what it needs so that it can grow. So the first step you're going to take, all right, this is for identification. This is our identification layer. We're going to gather our kindling, right? The things that we're going to burn. So we're going to take a small piece of paper. Small piece of paper. We're going to write on it first. I'm crumpling it up, but I have wrote on it first. We're going to write this sentence, right? And you want to be honest. I'm preface this with that. Right? A lot of me, don't lie to yourself. You want to be honest with these things, right? So when you write on this paper, you're writing, I am ready to release my attachment to the story or belief, whichever one it is for you, to the story or belief that blank. I am ready to release my attachment to the story or belief that blank. Right? The story or belief that I am not enough, the story or belief that I am not worthy, or the story or belief that my worth is tied to my productivity, that you think as much as you produce, that's as much as you worth. Hope not. But that's the sentence. And the blank is what you're gonna put in. That's your truth. Right? Now we want to move to gratitude, the second step. This is where, even earlier when we talked about when we release the old, not just throwing it away, but showing gratitude, blessing is service, being thankful. So we're going to bless the service by giving gratitude. We're going to hold that paper. We're going to acknowledge this once protected me. Whatever that thing was that I wrote on that I am ready to release, we're saying this thing once protected me. All right. It taught me blank. What did it teach you? We're being honest. What did it teach you? For that, I thank you. Your service is now complete. You're letting that go. This is going to shift and release from that rejection to completion. You're now giving that gratitude. So we're shifting and releasing this idea of rejection or something being lost to completion, something also being gained. We're releasing this, thanking it. Thank you for what you did for me. And you know what's even crazier? Before I get to the third step, that is why I say that forgiveness is forgiving. A lot of times we get in these relationships, whether it's an intimate relationship, a friendship, business partnership, whatever that relationship is, and it ends. And we don't want to be grateful. We only focus on that last negative thing that happened, right? And what we forget is the lesson that we learned. So we show no gratitude. And I'm not telling you to, oh, I'm supposed to go kiss up to my ex and just do it. No, no, no. You don't even got to tell them nothing. But in your own time to grow, you acknowledge that, right? You don't even, it's not even about thanking them. It's about giving the gratitude to yourself. What did you learn from that time? and how did it assist you? Don't play yourself and act like you ain't learned nothing. Don't think that you going by not doing this, you gonna hurt them. No, you're only hurting yourself. Don't trust me. Trust yourself. You're only hurting yourself. You ain't doing nothing to them. Matter of fact, by continuing to holding on to them, you continuing. This is why they're able to survive. This is why they thrive in your mind, because you holding on and you won't release. To release them, find that. You're like, you know what? I thank you for teaching me that I need to trust myself, that I was giving too much to other people, that I had my value confused and thinking that a man or a woman was going to come in, or a job or opportunity was going to come in. Thank you for teaching me that. And I release that. Your service is now complete. Talk to yourself. Thank yourself for experiencing that, and then still being strong enough to get up out of that. Don't just look at everything as a negative. That gratitude is important so that we can move from rejection to completion, from destruction to renewal. Okay. And the third step, first step, we ID'd, we gathered our things, put them in, we wrote on a piece of paper where we're ready to release. Our second step, we bless this service. That's the gratitude. And the third step, we're going to transmute. All right, we're going to surrender to the fire. So if you are doing this physically, I just want to remind you, if you're burning this in the bowl, just make sure the bowl is fireproof. Okay, make this fireproof, right? Safety. All right. So put it in the bowl, light that paper, and as it burns, you're just gonna watch that smoke rise. You just watch it, and you're gonna declare, "I release you from my cells, my energy field, and my story. I return you to the elements. You are free, and I am free." You see that? You are saying, what you're doing is freeing up your whole energetic system, your body, your mind, your spirit, by saying, I'm releasing this. I return you. You are free, and I am free. Both get what we need in that. We're transmuting, changing this so that can be used for our benefit. And so if you're not physically doing this, if you're visualizing this, then you're going to see that paper burst into a quick, clean, golden flame, just like a fire would be, right? You're just going to visualize it in your mind's eye because you're strong enough to do this. That's why you're doing it, visualization, because you a true warrior, one of the most inspiring. You're like, you know what? Boom, I can see this and I can feel it and I can create this. So you're going to feel the heat, not as pain, but warmth, purifying. And then you're just going to watch the ash fall. So physically, you're going to see it, and visually, you're going to see it. And then fourth, we're going to integrate this. We're going to gather the ash. Remember, when the forest fire happens, that goes back into the soil. So we're going to gather that ash out of that bowl, or visualize it in our mind. We're going to visualize the cool ash. We're going to gather the cool ash, right? It's not waste. That's fertilizer. That's actually one of the most potent, right? So we want to place our hands over our heart, this important center space. And we say, I integrate the wisdom. I receive the space. My inner soil is now clear and fertile. I receive the space. You're declaring that I receive the space. I integrate the wisdom. I receive the space. My inner soil is now clear and fertile. What starts as a kind of like an acknowledgement of what we're releasing, at the end, it turns into a statement of what we're now receiving. And so the last step, the fifth step to close this out, is that we now express that intention. We water the new space. So we're going to simply, something simple. And it's like, oh man, that ain't work. I hear y'all already, skeptics. Don't worry about y'all. You're just going to drink a glass of water, affirming, I feel this new space with clarity, peace, and possibility. Why are you drinking a glass of water? Because you are the new space. You are the soil. You just water. You fill your new space with clarity, peace, and possibility. And these things, they challenge the one thing that we need. What's that, son? That belief. The person who sits there, because I was once there, and this is no judgment. This is just letting you know where you are. And you doubting, you like, man, this I don't know about this. Test your belief. This is all I'm saying. Don't trust me, trust yourself. Challenge all of that. If you think something ain't gonna work, challenge yourself. If you think it is gonna work, challenge yourself. Because all you're doing is just proving yourself right. I don't think this is gonna work. Let me see. Oh, it worked. Oh, well, I think this thing gonna work. It didn't work. Oh, well, don't be afraid to get the information. That data is what's gonna make you rich. I'm telling you. All right. Now we move to the contrast before we get out of here. And this is a reminder that if you are watching this video through the YouTube channel or through reels or shorts or whatever it is, that you need to make your way over to this Noon Vibe community, because there we get more in depth, right? And we're live. So we want to assist you in this process, because we go fast alone, we go far together. So make sure you jump into that Noon Vibe community, right? Because those Noon Vibers, they're going to be in a new community soon. And we're going to be up out of here. We're going to be living life inspired, somewhere else. What we need to do, if you want to be a part of that, you just follow the breadcrumbs and meet us there. So let's get to the contrast, because we always want to contrast things, right? Again, I told you, it's a system. I don't want to just sit here and talk to you about my experience in my life. No, I want to provide you with tools that you can actually use and practically apply this, so that you can embody and that you can be experiencing the life that you are meant to experience. You ain't put here to work a 9 to 5 for 50 years and retire. Trust me. Don't trust me. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. So it's holding or clinging versus honoring or composting. Remember, that soil we planting them new seeds in, right? So when we're holding or clinging, right, that is when we are carrying something out of fear. We like, I'm afraid to put things down, or carrying out of guilt. Feel guilty if I put it down, or it's a habit. I've been doing it, so I'm doing it. I don't even know why. It's just a habit, bro. We hold on or we cling to things for those reasons, and that is motivated by the same reasons why we're carrying it. That the reason we're carrying something out of fear is going to be motivated by fear. But fear of what? We have this sick fear of being alone by ourselves, which means we have also a fear of emptiness. Yet, what did we talk about earlier that we learned from the Tao Te Ching? Emptiness is where we want to be. That's our utility. What utility do we have when we full? We ain't got no capacity for nothing. It is in that emptiness that we can be filled up again. So imagine you have an unlimited ability. They just said you got unlimited refills and you don't even finish your glass. We better drink all that because you get another refill. It's unlimited. We get unlimited refills. Yes. Like, so hey, refills. So that fear of emptiness, that fear of what we don't know, and that was big for me. Fear of the unknown. It's like, what's over there? I don't know, and I'm afraid of it. That's the dark. You be like, I don't want to go downstairs. It's dark. You used to hear voices. They don't even be nothing. Flying back up the stairs because you swear you heard something. There wasn't nothing there. But that fear of that unknown, right? Or the being loyal to the past, man. Like, this is one of the biggest things. They say be loyal to the soil. People like, man, was I not supposed to? Was I supposed to stay the same? Was I supposed to continue staying the same? Because if we juxtapose that versus anything, we're going to notice something. That decay, that rotting, the bad smell. Oh my God. If you wore the same clothes every day, it'll begin to smell, right? If you left your fruit out every single day and didn't eat it, it'll go bad. If you didn't change the air filter in your air conditioner, it'll go bad. Like, change is, yet we turn it into this negative thing and we like, oh my God, people change. I can't believe they changed. So are you admitting that you didn't? If we're not going to change and grow, then we're not evolving, we're devolving. We're going backwards. That's like clinging or holding. Arthur, that's the closed fist. This is what clinging and holding looks like. It also looks like contracted energy. It also looks like living in repetition. You're just repping it out for the sake of repping it out. We ain't even going nowhere. We doing things just to do things that amount to no thing. This is stagnation. We like going around in circles and circles and circles. We ain't even going nowhere. It's like, what are you doing? You're being stagnant, which is then going to cause what? Fatigue. Now you're tired, which then going to cause what? That emotional congestion. I'm fed up because I'm stagnant. Now I'm tired and I'm fed up. And everywhere I go, I'm stagnant and I'm tired and I'm fed up. Holding on. These are quick identifiers. It's like, oh, you stagnant. Oh, you tired, huh? Oh, you felt what you holding on to? I ain't holding on to nothing. Okay, we'll see. If we are honoring, if we are composting, right? We're acknowledging without influence. We are building trust in the growth. We have respect for the flow, the phases, the stages, the levels, the cycles. And we have a desire for foundation or fertile ground, right? When we honor it, we want a good foundation. You want a fertile ground. You ain't trying to be on rocky road like you like what? What I'm gonna grow in this type of environment. This looks like the open hand. It looks like expanding our energy, not contracting it. It looks like living in progress. Is not to say that these we don't have hindrances and blockages, but we just continue to progress. You ever been driving down the road and there was something in the middle of the road? Did you stop and just sit there? You went around it. This is what living in progress is like. So when we're holding on, we're gonna stop and sit right there and say, somebody need to move this thing out the road. Then we're gonna blame that thing in the road for why we late because we chose to sit there instead of going around it, instead of continuing to go. When we are honoring, we are living in progress, like we said, but we are liberated. We create space for our inspired action. We say never stop prospering. It requires effort daily. And if we hold it on, we ain't gonna have the energy to get an effort daily. So we never started. And it's never stop, not never start. No, never stop. Keep going. The honoring allows us to move forward without resentment. So this is the gratitude. This is why you release. This is why you let go. It ain't for them. It's for you. Forgiveness is forgiving. It forgives, but it's forgiving. It's for you to give. Okay? And Lao Tzu don't take us out. Because Lao Tzu wants us to know that to hold on is to be heavy. To let go is to be free. When we release, we lighten the path ahead. So the question is, do you want to be free or do you want to be heavy? You're here to be inspired every day, forever. So make the decision on what you're going to do, but lighten that path so that you can continue to go ahead because we are now reaching for the before, not looking behind. You know what's after that.